Hi, this is Amujama. Now, today I want to talk about the different energies that are present using my homemade astro wheels, which talk about the Western, Vedic or Jyotish, Mayan or Tzolk'in, and Chinese or Bazi calendars. The four largest systems of astrology in this world today. So, today the moon is still in Capricorn, very close to Pluto. It is in the, and this is also regarding the timing in Puerto Vallarta in the afternoon. And the Vedic nakshatra of the moon today is Uttarashada. The Mayan day is for Imix, or the crocodile, or also known as other sea creatures, the goddess of the sea, and the day of the fire ox. So once again, the moon in Capricorn in the nakshatra Uttarashada, following the philosophy of Ernst Wilhelm to use the tropical signs in the Vedic nakshatras. For crocodile, or Imix, and the fire ox. Now I'm going to pull some cards from the Santa Muerte Tarot deck, also called the Book of the Dead, and ask the ancestors what is the main focus of the combination of all of these energies together. Because this is why I'm doing this, is to talk about not just what does the moon in Capricorn mean, or what does Imix mean, or the ox, Uttarashada, or any nakshatra. The point is that when they all come together, looking at a global perspective. Now the reason we need to look at it through a global perspective is to say, look, all these different systems don't get enough attention, first off. Second, some get more than others. Third, when you combine from an eagle-eye view, when you combine all the different types of symbols, archetypes, and spirits that are present in all of these different systems throughout the ages, then you get a more well-rounded view of the truth, or as I like to say, the truth is in between the perspectives. Therefore, it's safe to say that neither of them is the whole truth. Each one is its individual truth, but the truth, or the closest thing we can get to it, is in between all. Okay. Shuffle quickly. So what's come up so far is that it's definitely a good time to start something new. And in order to start something new, we must first get rid of that which no longer serves us, essentially meaning all of the baggage, the weight that we're carrying, emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual, negative eating habits, emotional obsession, negative mental stimulation or improperly guided focus, and spiritual disconnection. Now, spiritual disconnection is probably the most important because basically the spirit in all things is within all things. Now, how can we possibly disconnect from this? Let's say there's different amounts of light and darkness, spirit. There's different amounts of spirit in all things, and we have access to our higher selves for the greater good of all things. And to use this is the most important thing we can do. However, most of us choose not to. We disconnect from spirit through the following methods. You see, life is very difficult, and the more that we try to avoid the hardships, the more they kind of keep coming back. It's kind of like a pendulum, right? It keeps swinging. So whenever things get difficult, we can't run away from our problems. And if we do that through escapism, through whatever type of vice you may have, it's actually causing us to disconnect from the purity of the spirit, which is in all things, which is in us, in our higher self, and we have direct connection to the vital breath and light present everywhere. We don't need anything for that. It's like in the desert, where it's just you and it's just all that is. The night sky and infinite stars and infinite grains of sand and this individual soul, spirit looking through this individual body. This is the most important thing we need to remember, is that the desert cosmology represents the totality of all things that exist, all things that ever exist and will ever exist. It is just simply the presence within the void that speaks through us. Some call this many things. It doesn't matter what they call it. The point is what you call it. Are you equally a part of this, or are you separate from it? So today, starting off, the most important factor we need to keep in mind is this. Everything goes as planned as long as we don't resist the impulses of the spirit. What does this mean? The impulses of the spirit is the inner self, what you truly desire, coming out as it must. Through dance, song, meditation, sex, occasional vices, helping others, building things, working, anything. This is the way the impulses of who you are based on your archetypes. And this is the creator, the divine speaking through you and through me and through all things. The bird does as it must, just as the ant does as it must, just as you do as you do, I do as I do. And all things are coming together perfectly as pieces of this divine puzzle. Now, the magic present in all things is associated with the archetype of, well, there's many archetypes. To pick one, Venus as well, mostly Mercury, but Venus as well. Venus is kind of more of a love magic, more of kind of bringing people together in a harmonious sense in order to please all things and not get distracted by pettiness. Whereas Mercury has more willing to go through the dirty alleyways to find that diamond hidden in the back of the garbage bin, if that kind of makes sense. So, what we have to make from this whole situation, the energies of today, is in order to move forward, we can't keep falling back on the old ways, and we cannot keep falling into our vices that are stopping us from connecting with spirit. The more we connect through spirit, the more we can really, really bring out our highest essence into this earth. As long as we are alive, we have the obligation to make the choice whether or not we're willing to make certain sacrifices, to let certain things go so that new things may open up. And the most dangerous thing we can possibly do is ignore when a message comes in. Because when a message comes in, it's like saying, okay, I don't really care for advice. I'm better than everyone else. I'm already healed. I'm cured. I don't actually need any assistance. So therefore, I'm just going to ignore it and go on with my day and simply just be me, because this is what my ego is telling me, right? So, the most important thing we can do as a remedy to our egoism, or a remedy to the things that are disconnecting us from understanding who we truly are, is simply listening to the highest intuition, not disconnecting from it, and once we connect with it, not going back. Because going back in this pendulum swing is kind of like nature trying to correct itself. Yeah, sometimes we need to take a break, but at the same time, it's important that we can settle into a new way of moving forward by simply just being at peace with who we are and allowing our new spiritual abilities and insights to come through without trying to avoid them, without trying to block them out because of what our past says and what our religions say or what our family and friends say. It doesn't really matter, because you are in training, as we all are. And your training is leading you to one area others are not going to be guided towards. And if you can't follow through your own yourself directed guidance, then you cannot ever evolve through the best possible manifestation of your entire being as an infinite immortal soul. It is up to ourselves to allow our highest guidance to come through at any given moment, and if we cannot allow this to happen, then our fate will not turn out as splendid as it could. This is Amujela. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay blessed, stay caring for yourself and for others, and enjoy living in sacred time.